Okay, welcome to video 2 where we'll talk about preparing the client. So now that you're ready to start, like you've gotten the space together, you've gotten yourself together, now you're ready to start. So you want to spend a few moments with the client, sit down with them, talk to them, more or less listen to what they're saying and how they're saying things, okay? You want to establish a rapport, especially if this is a new client. If it's a client that you've already worked with before, then you may not have to spend so much time on this portion. But if it's a new client coming in, they've only filled out a little bit of the form online. That's one thing I also wanted to touch on. So if you could kind of get like as much information as you can online from the online submission, then that would help a big deal, so that you already have an idea of what you'll be encountering when they arrive, okay? So like I said, you want to just establish that rapport, talk to them, figure out what would be best for them. During this time, you're going to answer any questions they have to the best of your ability. If you don't know the answer, then you should be able to reach out to your Reiki master teacher and ask. 9 times, I would say probably 10 times out of 10, they will know the answer. But use your intuition as well, because a lot of stuff is common sense. And with you working with Reiki, you can also ask Reiki, by this time, like, since we already have we're already running our energy, Reiki energy is already flowing through you. So you'll want to maybe query Reiki and say, hey, just in your head, like you don't have to say it out loud, but as the person is talking, that's why I said to just pay attention to what they're saying and how they're saying it and their body language and things like that, so you can get an idea of what it is they're dealing with. So, and during this as well, I just wanted to add on, you want to just really set the intention of the session while you're answering those questions. You'll be wanting to explain the Reiki process is in an easy to understand way, guys. Don't try and throw a lot of spiritual jargon in there and making it so, just don't overdo it with that, okay? Just explain things simple and for a person to understand. You may have to, just really simplify the words. There's really no other way to say it. Just speak simple and not using so much of your jargon. Now, if you're already like a massage therapist or a physical therapist, then you kind of already know what I'm talking about, because even with you guys, you have to learn how to not use so much medical jargon and utilize words and things that a person can understand. So it's the same principle here. Just keep it simple. So during this portion as well, you want to let them know the techniques that you'll be using, as far as, will you have them on a Reiki table? Will you have them on the floor? Do you have a couch? Do you have a chair? One thing, guys, that I'm going to be checking out, I believe I mentioned this in another video, but is a zero gravity chair with a weighted blanket. I'm actually shopping around for one, so once I get it, I'll do a video on it. But that's, you want to let them know what type of equipment you're going to be using or techniques. So the most common one would be, on the Reiki table and or on the floor. Some people prefer the floor. Hey, all power to you. That's just not one of my favorites. I mean, if the customer or client requests it, then obviously I will do it. But I just feel it's just a lot easier for me to be relaxed, and that's one key thing when doing your sessions, is for you to be relaxed, okay? So you also want to just discuss with them any allergies they may have, because you want to tell them, hey, I use aromatherapy during this session, or I use this certain incense, or I use this certain herbs to burn, like when you're burning Palo Santos wood, or if you're burning sage. I would also be cautious when you utilize the spray, because you can also get it in spray form, because some buildings, if you're renting a space, you know, some of those places don't allow for smoke. So you can buy the spray as well. Be very cautious with those, because I actually had bought some and I was just testing them out. I wasn't like going around like spraying a bunch of it, but I sprayed just a little bit in where I, at my home. And one of my family members got sick. They were like freaking out and things like that. So let's say we don't use that one here, but I'm just, that's just an example. Like, make sure that they are not allergic to the products and the scents and things that you'll be using. I also wanted to touch on using essential oils versus fragrance oils. So essential oils are the better way to go. Fragrance is more just for the smell, and it can a lot of times have synthetic things in it. I prefer to use oils that are organic and things of that nature. So if you can find organic myrrh, organic frankincense, organic lavender, the actual essential oil, that's a big one that people kind of get mixed up on. Sometimes they'll list it as an essential oil, but it's actually just a fragrance, along with jasmine. Be careful with those two, guys, and make sure that it says essential oil, okay? Also, you want to establish, hey, are you okay with touch, which is light touch, not massage. If you're a massage therapist, this doesn't really apply to you because you have the credentials and you have the licensing to do massage. But for those of us that are just Reiki practitioners or Reiki masters, we have to establish this with our client, that we will lightly touch. It would just be just like this, just placing a hand on the person, not moving the hand or anything like that, just simply placing the hand. So you have to establish if you are actually placing hands on them, are they okay with that? For me, I do play it by ear. I do work more on the safer side in most cases and things like that, as far as like hovering. But I mean, I'll hover close, but I'm not going to necessarily, in this area is a sensitive area, and then also in the pubic area is a sensitive area as well. So you want to, in those areas, especially just hover and things like that, even though they say they're okay with touch. Now, if it's your family member or someone that, a best friend or something, that's, that doesn't really come into play. It's more for the general public that you'll be serving and giving sessions to. So you want to make sure that you establish that with your client, okay? You also want to just make sure you guys are both on the same page. You let them know that they do not take off their clothes. And this is, like I said, if you're a massage therapist, then you have kind of a different set of things going on. But this is for strictly a person who is just doing energy healing work, okay? They do not take off their clothes. The only thing that comes off is like a jacket, if they have that, jewelry, heavy jewelry that might get in the way, and shoes, okay, and glasses if they have glasses. So those are really the only things that they would be removing. Ideally, you want them to remove all of that stuff kind of when you guys are sitting down to talk, just so that they can kind of get a lot more comfortable, have their feet relaxed and out of their shoes and things of that nature. So after you guys are on the same page, you guys know what's going on, they know what's going on, things like that, then at this time you want them to go ahead and fill out the remaining forms that you have, just the client information form, to make sure that you have things correct for your filing system, the consent form, and also Hippa Privacy forms as well, and things of that nature, and any other forms that you might have that are necessary for them to sign. Now, they may have filled out a portion of this online, so you want to at least have a printer if you can, so that way you can print it out and have them physically sign it. You don't want to get caught up in any legal things behind, trying to provide healing to a person. So CYA, cover your ass. That's one thing that I learned, is make sure that you cover yourself, okay? And that's it for this video. The third video is going to pop up right here. And in that video, we're actually going to be talking about entering the session.